Greetings, fellow man. Servus, Männer. It's Red Pill Germany again, and today I want to tell you a little bit about the fifth season in Germany, the Carnival season, of course, which will end tomorrow on Ash Wednesday. Now, first of all, as Germany is a very diverse conglomeration of different weird tribes, there is not only one word for carnival in Germany. In some areas it's called Fasching, in some others it's called Fasnacht and Karneval, of course. There are some other words too, and depending on what tribe you belong to or in what region you are living, you use one or the other word, and of course the way that it is celebrated also differs. And there are also many cities and many areas in Germany where Carnival is not really celebrated at all. And I would say this is more in the Protestant areas of Germany. Carnival is predominantly celebrated in Catholic areas, I think. But it's not really 100%, right? It's not all black and white, but it's more or less in Catholic areas. So first of all, I want to explain a little bit in general about European Carnival, or that custom, where it comes from. And also then I want to give you two specific examples of the way we celebrate this time in two different parts of Germany, and that would be in the Rhineland and that would be in the Southwest, in the area where the Alemans are at home. Alright, so a lot of people say that it goes back to Roman times, but I'm not so sure about that. So in the German tradition, or in the Northern European tradition, this festival was a fertility festival, and one wanted to drive out the evil ghosts of winter and basically welcome again the sun before springtime. So you can find traditions like that in many countries that are in the northern hemisphere or in northern latitudes, basically, because people were sick and tired of the winter where they cannot farm, and they were really happy that springtime comes again. And this idea of casting out evil spirits, so winter was dangerous, winter was rough, it was always associated with evil spirits. So in Japan, for example, you see the festival of Setsubun, where they have the tradition of mame maki, for example. So they would throw beans around in the house into the different corners of the room, and they would say Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi, which basically means that evil spirits or demons should be cast out, and luck and wealth and fortune should come into the home. And I should say that now when you look at Carnival, you will see basically three different major factors in it. One is just practicality, because of the storage culture that we needed to have in Northern Europe, where we didn't have any food in winter. We needed to store everything. And then it was just really practical to eat all the stuff that would spoil otherwise, because then you have the calories in yourself, and then there comes the time of fasting until you have food again. And that already ties in with the Christian tradition, the second pattern or the second source that you will see, because when Christianity came to Europe, it basically arranged itself with the pre-Christian pagan traditions of Central or Northern Europe. And for example, I mean, winter solstice became Christmas, for example, and also this carnival that was celebrated as a fertility festival by the pagans before became basically the last big chance to party before the fasting time begins, and that will begin tomorrow on Ash Wednesday, when we all get our cross on the forehead that will symbolize that we will all die very soon, that we're all mortals and nothing stays here forever. So the time between Carnival and Easter is of course the fasting time, and then we take it also as an opportunity to have a lot of fun and to enjoy drink and food before the fasting time begins. Yeah? So you have these three ingredients basically. You have the pagan tradition, you have the need to get rid of the food that would otherwise spoil and get some calories before springtime so that you make it through February and March and early April, and you have Christian tradition, which kind of incorporated a lot of stuff, and not directly maybe, but at least indirectly fitted in this festival very nicely just before the fasting time. Now officially this fifth season, as we call it, begins on November the 11th at 11 o'clock and 11 minutes. And from that time on, yeah, it is basically this festival time. But it only becomes really important in February, really. And it all culminates, of course, in the week before Ash Wednesday, when there are a lot of parades and a lot of parties and events with local comedians and a lot of shows. Now, it is basically a time when our strict and hierarchical ways are a little bit loosened, and we actually can get drunk in public and make a fool out of ourselves. Most people dress really silly and make really stupid jokes. The music is also very silly, and a lot of people actually don't like that stuff because it's just very childish, very silly, and many people just don't want to hear or see anything about Carnival in Germany. So people are really divided on this festival, I should say. But I want to give a first example now, which is in the southwestern part of Germany. And this is where the costumes are characterized by wooden masks and very wild dress that is mostly a patchwork of different fabrics. And these costumes can look pretty cool, I think. And some of the masks are just very grotesque or demon-like. And in the city of Rottweil, for example, some of the participants in the festival, they perform something that they call the Narrensprung. That is, they use this kind of stick to perform a pole jump, and that they call the Narrensprung, the fool's jump. Now, another very interesting tradition can be found in the town of Ellwangen, where in the revolutionary era of 1848, the alumni of the local gymnasium, the high school of the town, were actually forming a secret society that is sworn to absolute secrecy. And on this carnival time, they would meet all robed in black with masks, and they would gather in a central place in the town, and they would read mocking stories, really impolite or very mocking satirical stories about the pillars of society in the town. So local celebrities or lawyers, judges, doctors, professors, teachers, something like that, or the mayor, for example. And if they misbehaved in the last year, then they will find a very, very unkind and satirical mention in these texts. And if someone feels insulted and tries to get near to those people, they carry whips to defend themselves. So in former times, they have not been so popular as they are now. Now it's all in good fun, I think. The costumes, the whips, and the march with the torches, however, are reminiscent of a time in Germany when this was not just about reading mocking funny stories, but when people actually met in secret, and they were wearing masks, and they were practicing vigilante justice, actually, when they felt that the justice system of Germany or of their state in which they lived were not enforcing law and order to a satisfying degree. So people formed these secret councils, and they carried out punishment and justice just by themselves. Now, the next example for how we celebrate Carnival is the Rhineland, and this is where the Carnival is actually also called Karneval, and it is probably the most popular or famous Carnival in Germany. So the way that they are celebrating it in Cologne or in Mainz or Düsseldorf is heavily influenced by the occupation by the French under Napoleon, and afterwards they became Prussian, actually. And these silly made-up uniforms that they're wearing are actually reminiscent of that time and the uniforms that military personnel would wear at these times. And so Carnival was always a time when you can kind of speak truth to power, when everyone just gets the right of a jester to make fun of powerful people, and when even slave and master kind of become equal and they can eat at the same table and converse with each other. So back then, Carnival was really used as an opportunity to mock and make fun of the current rulers of these cities or these districts. And we still do that today. So there is a lot of satire about politicians these days, or about business people, for example, powerful people in general, I should say. So you see, everyone is wearing these funny hats and these made up uniforms that somehow look like the 18th century. And they have a lot of huge parades, and in cities like Cologne, for example, at that time, during these couple of days before Ash Wednesday, before the fasting time begins, a lot of people do not go to work, and I think a lot of places just shut down and they just take a vacation so that everyone can participate in the party. And you will get nothing done during that time in the city. Like if you have to go to an office or you have to run errands, you can forget about that during that time. So the entire city is one big party zone. Everyone is basically drunk and attends some party. Now, many people who live there and really hate Carnival, they would actually go away on a trip, for example, for a week or so, and then return when everything is over. So in the description below, I put some links to videos that give you some kind of an example of how these parties are like in Germany, and what the music also is like. I know that I will regret sharing this stuff because it is very easy to mock us because of that, but this is also part of our culture. So me personally, I actually like the more traditional Southwestern Fasnacht actually a little better than the Carnival. I like the traditional wooden masks, and you can really still see the idea of casting out the winter spirits. I have to say I like that a little more. It really shows our traditional European culture. And of course, a lot of people do not like this anymore. Any display of European culture, they hate. They want to ban it, because there is no such thing as a European people, right? So let me know what you think about all that stuff, or if you could imagine participating in such a crazy event, or how it is in your country. I mean, Carnival is celebrated in many countries around the world. So please share and enjoy the last day of Carnival. Tomorrow everything is over again. Have a nice day. Servus, Kameraden.